What's up, guys? Dylan Sider with Kinfolk Carpentry here, and today we're working on some cabinets and we're going to be doing some cabinet trim up top if I get to it. So I'm setting this island right now. Stick around. Alright, I'm just going to give you a little rundown on what I keep on me when I'm doing cabinet installs. This guy right here, it's a little occidental pouch that just clips to your belt. Where this is fine, if I bump a cabinet, it's soft. It's not going to scratch anything. And it's just quick, easy in and out. And you can store a few screws in it underneath your tape if you need to. And then I keep my bit organizer on my back here because I'm constantly switching bits. So that's my cabinet essentials. Don't ever wear a tool belt while you're installing cabinets. You're just going to scratch crap up and make a mess. So. Getting started here. Making sure I'm in a nice straight line and I'm level. These are already fastened. This is a floating floor, so I'm actually going over the floating floor, which is a bit controversial. But the only time I fasten to the floor, I cut out a chunk of flooring and I fasten through that, so I'm not actually fastening through the floor and I'm giving it still room to move around. Our flooring contractor said that's fine as long as you're not screwing through the floor and pinning it to the floor. Then these are essentially the same as furniture, whether you're sitting a fridge on it or you're sitting furniture, you know, large tables and stuff are very heavy, and this is no different. So as long as you're not fastening through it and you're giving lots of room for expansion and contraction around your screw, they seem fine with it, and I think it's fine too. So that's what I'm doing. As I kind of set stuff, I just want to make sure I'm parallel, roughly parallel off of, I'm like bang on parallel there. I was checking that. This was where I started. I was trying to make it parallel off that wall, but it's a little bit off. This was more important to me to keep this straight, so that's what I'm working off of, and I'm going to show you how I do this block here. I'm going to mark on the floor exactly where this cabinet is going to land. So then essentially I'm coming over, I'm going to give myself 9/16 because my cabinet side is 1/2 inch, and I want to make sure I'm not cutting it so close that I'm trying to force it, so I'm giving myself a 1/16. Alright, so as you can see here, I have my block. I drilled through my block down into the concrete, and then I just took an oscillating tool and I cut a hole, you know, it's probably 1.25 by 1.25 all the way around. So when that screw goes through, the floor can still move all around it. So that's what I'm doing. I drilled this hole big because I only have short tap cons. I don't have long ones, so. Fasten down. Now I have something to screw my cabinet to. So I'm not doing this a ton on the island. I'm only putting 2 blocks like this, one at this end, one at that end. I want to screw down to the floor as little as possible. As much as the flooring contractor thinks it's fine, and I do too, I never want to risk it. So I'm being cautious, and once the countertop's on, as long as it's fastened to the floor where the thing can't twist or anything, I think we're fine. So last night I was scrolling on the internet and I saw that my favorite band from when I was like maybe 14 to 20 is coming to like 10 minutes from where I live, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. The band is Under Oath, and they're playing with a bunch of bands I used to listen to all the time, and I've seen them in concert a ton of times when I was a teenager. And so I bought tickets instantly, and it's actually on my birthday. The dilemma is back home in Canada, I probably have 10, 15 people that I could call and be like, yo, you want to go see Under Oath in concert? But where I live now, I'm not sure anybody listened to that heavy music. The people I hang out with weren't really into that music growing up. So I bought 2 tickets, and now my goal is to find a willing participant to come along with me on my birthday to go see a hardcore band in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So if you're watching and you're from the Lancaster area and you like Under Oath, give me a shout out, because maybe I'll see you there, or you could buy a ticket and join up with me to watch a epic heavy metal show. Yikes. So now I'm all hyped to see Under Oath. I'm listening to the album they're going to be performing because it's a 20-year anniversary of Define the Great Line. So that's the soundtrack to my day. A little bit of screaming action here. Get me all amped. I want to run through a wall. I do really like these welding style clamps. They're very nice for clamping on face frames, you know, and getting things tight and holding. They're kind of like a channel, not a channel lock. What do you call these? Completely slipped my mind, but it's nice because they have a lot of holding force, and they really get things tight together and hold. So I do that, and then I just put a 2.5-inch finish head screw through the side of the face frame to hold it together. And this will it's not going anywhere. So in working through this, I wanted to figure out what my gap is going to be here, if that needs to be tight depending on what my end panels look like, which are these. But if you notice, there's a bit of an issue. They are huge. They stick up past my countertop, so clearly these were in misorder, which is tricky because realistically they should go something like this. And there should be like a finished panel at the bottom. Well, that was a chore to get that on. I had to get very creative with some 1/4-inch skin material and a panel, but I think it turned out good. As you can see, my reveals are nice, and then that just gets toe kicked down there. I had to kind of custom make some panel here and glue the stink out of it to this post, which once that glue sets up, it'll never move, and kind of create a toe kick down here that didn't exist. So we are done with that. Moving on to the next. Now remember, this is all just temporary for pictures, and I'm not going to try to glue everything, and I'm just making it look good so that it doesn't stand out just temporarily till we order the right material. So now that turned out pretty good. I mean, for a mistake. Yeah, you see the seam difference there and here, but overall it looks pretty natural there. And I mitered these corners around with a little bit of paint and wax. I think that'll look pretty good, at least for pictures, and we can decide to order 2 new panels here that are the right size. And I'll just fasten those on, but moving on. All right, we're gonna get into this bank of cabinets now. What I'm gonna start with is there's a fridge that goes here, so I'm putting the fridge cabinet in up here, fridge panel, and then I will work on all the crown. I've got to build a soffit up here, and then do crown around it. So I'm gonna start with this fridge cabinet, which is in that box right there. So. Dang it, I forgot to click record, but I got this cabinet up there by myself, which is a feat. I set my laser up and cut a 2x4 so that I have a little prop there, and I had that kind of preset sitting there, so when I got it up there, I just propped it and clamped it, and I'm ready to get that set, screwed a cleat to the wall, and keep moving. So, progress. Here's a question for all you ladies and gentlemen in the trades. Are you the type of person that is constantly charging batteries? Do you just use one, put it on the charger, you always have a charger out and you're kind of keeping track of them? Or are you like myself, where you let every single battery die and you keep taking the battery that has a charge left and switching it to different tools, because I'm a Neanderthal? And then when they're all dead, you just have a charging party and you like plug in every charger and you just like have a rotation where you charge them. You charge all of them at the same time and just get them moving. That's my charger over there. Let me know in the comments. Are you unorganized like me, or are you a normal human? So I got this all installed. Everything's good. I am now moving on to this mess up here, which I've got to figure out how to build. The soffit, underside of the soffit, is only 1/4 inch thick. So I think my thought is I'm going to put a board along the top with a 1/4 inch gap to this material so that I can slide in there and I can fasten up through it in here so it doesn't sag. And then I will place a 2x4 on top of it after the fact, and maybe pocket screw it here and fasten it down there. And then I have like a maple 3/4 inch thick, that's this color, that's going to go on the face and wrap around, and then I'll do crown. And so that's what the plan is. I'm yet to figure out how that's going to work. I have an 8-inch gap here and a 2-inch, 2.5-inch gap here. So I don't know if I get the riser material on this or if I'll just run the riser here and then I'll crown around this. But we'll figure that out. Oh. How'd you like that trick? A little sketchy, but got her done. That's pretty cool. So I got a 2x4 fastened in up there to keep that nice and straight across here. And this is my riser material, 3/4 maple. And this may be controversial, but I think I'm gonna Craig jig a piece on the end. I only have 8 footers, so I need to put a seam in it. And, you know, typically I've mitered these in the past and they look pretty good, but I think I can make that look like really nice if I just make a straight cut and Craig jig it together. So that's what I'm gonna do. You're not gonna get a tighter seam than that with a miter. Bam, look at that. Look at the difference in height. That's not gonna matter because crown will cover that, but love that. All right, so I'm just clamping a block of wood there as a prop to help me to hold this piece, make sure that I get my miter fitting good, so that's what I'm doing now. That's about right. So this is a little bit risky. There's not, the only where there was enough meat to actually pocket screw it together is the ends. And so I'm pocket screwing the crown together. I think it worked. Let's see if it's better than a miter. I mean, the pieces seem slightly different sizes because they're obviously not one piece of wood. They're milled separately. Sometimes there's variations, so I'm very flush on the bottom, but I got a little bit of a lip up there. I mean, that is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. I don't know if you can see that. It's slightly down, but with wax and paint, I feel like you're not going to get better than that with a miter. And it's a lot stronger than a miter. I mean, that's screwed in there. That's as strong as it could get. So, yeah, buddy. Can't fall. All right. So just a 2x4 prop there. So I have an in-depth video on my channel of how I like to do crown molding. So check that video out if you want a real deep dive, but here's just a quick overview. I use crown stops. Newer DeWalt saws come with a hole tapped to use these. And I just make sure that I'm sitting flush against the fence and flush against the table when I set them. And then I just use standard 45s. I cut it upside down and backwards, standard 45s, and I basically take the measurement from my table to the top of my crown and I transfer that from the ceiling down, make a mark, and make sure I try to stay on that mark. And your miter should work out. That's how I like to do crown. So, moving on. All right, we're ready to nail this miter. I've kind of tweaked it, and I usually leave my piece about a 1/16 long. This is a new build, so I only leave it a 1/16 long because I know I probably won't have a huge amount of scribing that needs done at the corner, but sometimes you can tell if that corner is like really rounded on the wall there. Sometimes I leave it like an 1/8 long, and I kind of fit to the wall first and then cut my miter to length. Kind of creep up to the line and make sure I'm getting right where I want to be. So. That's it. There's the finished product. Oh yeah, baby. Okay, ladies and gents, I was shorted a piece of crown. They only gave me 2 8-foot pieces, and that is that's about 10 feet over here. And then I didn't even have enough to do this piece up here. So, back to the drawing board. We ordered another piece of crown, and I'll have to do that at a later time. So I'm gonna try to just fill my day out with like tackling these little things. So toe kick here, I have to fit an end panel here. I do have to do base around this whole island, but I gotta build the toe kick out. It's Friday at like 2 o'clock, and I have like, I would say 70% of my truck down here in tools. So, and I'm not back on this job on Monday, so I gotta pack everything up, which is unfortunate because it's like 110 degrees outside. But I'm going to fit that panel.